For those who are unaware, I hate Eustass Kid. People ask this question all the time. I've never seen someone hate Kid the way you do. Jay, why do you hate him so much? Is this agenda? Is this real hatred? Is this a gimmick? And I'm here to tell you guys, this isn't a gimmick. I actually despise Eustass Kid. But there's context behind it, because at the end of the day, it really is my fault. He's a fictional character. The writer writes him how he wants to write, and he thinks he's correct, and half the fandom think they're correct. But me, with this, it's personal. The way I hate Eustass Kid is the way a bitter ex hates their ex-partner. Let me explain. The way I see Eustass Kid is the way a franchise would see a lottery pick in the NBA, where they draft a player and they believe this is it. This is our franchise player. This guy's gonna take us to the top. We're getting 3 rings with this guy. Look at all the potential. Look at his performance in college. Look at all the points. 20 points and 10 rebounds in college, and almost a national championship. He almost got there. Most of you guys like, what are these NBA analogies? If you've been on this channel long enough, you know what I'm talking about, so just follow through, okay? And then the time comes where he's in the league and the rookie season is looking promising. You're like, oh yeah, we just need to put a few more pieces around him and it's it, that's it. And you spend time building the team and you put some pieces around him and you give him an opportunity, and you're almost at the finals, but you're at the conference finals, and just when you need him to show up all the potential, he falls flat. And after he falls flat, his career is just mundane, and that's it. He never amounts to anything. You wasted max contracts, you wasted building a team, you wasted everything. That's what Eustass Kid is to me. But those who don't watch basketball, let me break it down for you in a narrative way so you guys understand why I despise Eustass Kid. It starts off with an early love story. I loved Eustass Kid. It may shock a lot of you, me saying, Jay, you liked Eustass Kid? I did, because at the end of the day, the first time I've seen Eustass Kid is the first time we're introduced to the supernova. We're introduced to Trafalgar Law, and we're introduced to Drake and Basil Hawkins and Apu. And there's this guy with magnetism powers. He looks real awesome, real rock star, real punky, and he's got a higher bounty than Luffy. And I'm thinking, oh, here we go. Luffy's main pirate rival. It's time. He ain't Smoker, he ain't Kobe. We've been looking for him. He's here with magnetism powers. So automatically you're thinking of the potential. And what comes to mind when you're thinking of magnetism? God, that's right. You're thinking of Magneto. Well, if you follow this channel long enough, you know what my favorite line is, but we'll save that till later. Because as we go along, we learn more about Eustass Kid, and we learn more about his feats, and we learn more about his savagery and his brutality. And you learn so much about Eustass Kid and how he's just rampaging across the, well, I don't know what blue he's from at this point, but it don't matter. He's been rampaging across the blues, getting ready for the new world. And he gets to the new world before Luffy. So you're thinking this is it. Eustass Kid is really gonna be important as we move along. Nope. So then we move on to the build-up. Like I said, highest bounty of the supernova, most brutal supernova we have, the only other one with a crew member that's also in the supernova. So you already got the parallels to Luffy. He's got his own Zoro, for God's sake. So I'm thinking, okay, it's not just wasting his time building this character up. He's going to be important, right? We look at Law. Law's got the sauce and the sexy devil fruit. So we like, yeah, okay, Law, you know what I'm saying? He here for the fan service. But Kid, he's here for hands. He's here for brutality. It's time, right? You got all that buildup, right? This guy was meant to be the antithesis of Luffy. Luffy is free and runs around saving people, and Kid runs around destroying villages and crucifying people. And I'm like, this guy's terrible, right? So you're thinking him and Luffy gonna clash. They're gonna go after the One Piece. I'm telling you, all this joy and excitement I have for this character. And you can't say, you know, oh my God, Jay, how could you have these expectations? It was in the story. We were all reading the same story, right? Am I wrong for having these expectations? No. So then we move on into the new one. We go into Dressrosa. Kid runs into Kaido. It's Kaido. We get it. He gets off screen. It is what it is. And you're thinking, well, everybody's got to deal with the Yonko at some point. There's no shame in that, right? Kid's got the lore of going to Big Mom, Cake Island. He went to Whole Cake Island to get something he lost. He's got the lore of Shanks. He's got the lore of Kaido, all off screen, dealing with the Yonko off screen. I'm thinking, man, this man Kid, I can't wait till he gets on screen. I can't wait till Kid puts up numbers. It's time. He's gonna do it. Oda's showing us. I'm being tricked day after day after day. Like I said, we're going back to the X analogy. I'm getting love bombed by Oda. I'm getting love bombed by Oda with Kid. It's like, oh my God, he's so good. He's buying me flowers every day, and he's taking me out to extravagant dinners, and I just can't wait, because as this relationship builds, I'm gonna be so happy. And as you continue on, because you know I got my books here, because you know I had to take notes to let y'all know I ain't playing. And so we get to Wano, and Wano is where everything is built up. Luffy, you know, he's clashed with the Yonko. He's He's beat Katakuri. He's got future sight. It's time. Kid, we don't know if Kid's gonna be on Wano, but then again, we know Kaido's gonna be there. So it's like, I wonder what happened to Kid. Luffy gets washed by Kaido. One shot. And we're thinking, okay, Kaido's serious business. And after he one-shots Luffy, we see Kid in prison, bloodied up. And we're like, this makes sense. Luffy got one shot in Gear 4. Kid got one shot. He got off screen, right? Yeah, same parallel feats. Luffy and Kid are still lock in step, right? We're still getting these parallels here. So I'm like, okay, man, Kid, just wait till he steps up. Kaido talking about Kid and Conqueror's Haki and all of that. I'm like, oh, the Haki feats too? We got Haki confirmation and we're getting it all, right? Once you get that, you're like, okay, Kid, it's coming. It's coming. This guy, he's serious. And then we go to prison. Kid with one arm. They're talking about Lawyer. Kid lost his arm to Shanks. Oh my God. I was like, wow, we're talking about he lost his arm to Shanks. Little did we know it wasn't even Shanks. Little did we know the nigga didn't even meet Shanks. But let's not get there because that's not important right now. What's important is that Kid and Luffy are clashing. And not clashing as in scrapping, as in like they're doing training feats together, Karoseki, Haki, all that physical strength. This is good. Luffy's having his old training arc in there, right? And we're thinking, okay, so again, we're getting the Kid and Luffy parallel. I'm being tricked. I'm being tricked right now. This is the trickery that I went under. Some people may say, I didn't believe in it, right? I was just following Oda. I'm like, yeah, sure. I was being tricked. That's the problem here. So we continue on. Let me go to Onigashima. He's got beef with Apoo because Apoo sold him out, which led to Killer's, unfortunate smile issues. And we're like, oh, Killer, poor Killer. And Kid is like, oh, I'm gonna get Apoo. I'm gonna kill him because Kid's a killer. So we're gonna do that, right? We get to Onigashima, competing with Luffy all the way there. He's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna kill Kaido. I'm gonna kill. Law's like, I'm gonna kill Kaido. So it's like, yeah, Kid, he's about to get his time. He may not fight Kaido, but he's definitely fighting Big Mom. He's got beef with Big Mom. It's time, right? We're all in there. He sees Apoo, damned punk. Good start. Slams him against the wall. I'm like, yeah, right? He about to wash Apoo. Doesn't even fight. That's it. Just a damned punk. Apoo gets up and starts fighting Zoro and Luffy. I'm like, okay, all right. That's not the main meal, right? That was just an appetizer. That's not the real meal, right? We're looking for more. So we continue on and we get to the rooftop. And this is where I'm like, okay, boy, it's time to show out. Luffy done learning Rio, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's time. We got Kid, we got Killer, we got Zoro, we got Law. We're here. We're locked in. It's time for some real Kid feats. Luffy goes in with a Rio punch, rocks Kaido. Kaido's like, oh my God, the first time I've ever felt pain in my life. And what does Kid do? What does Luffy do? Haki? Well, I've never seen that type of Haki before. What's going on? In my mind, I'm like, wait a minute, why doesn't he's supposed to be fighting Kaido and Big Mom, but he doesn't know what Rio is. So how is he supposed to hurt Kaido and Big Mom? I don't know yet, right? Because here's the one thing I need y'all to understand. Kid has only shown himself to be a blunt force fighter, just like Luffy, which means if people that have like impenetrable skin, people that don't really take damage from blunt force attacks, and you can't cut, Haki is needed to get through the tough armor. He doesn't know what that is, so I'm concerned already. I said, okay, well, he's got to have something different, right? Like the Magneto got to come out at some point, right? The Magneto? Yeah? No. So we're doing all these feats. Killer doing sonic booms and attacking Kaido inside. Zoro cutting Kaido a little bit, causing, with Enma. All with his devil fruit, Haki rocks. He can do internal damage. And Luffy hitting him with Rio. And what does Kid do? He builds a giant Gundam and suplexes. And I'm like, okay, all right. Okay, yeah, it's just a starter, right? There's more. There's got to be more than that. It can't just be the suplex, right? And he keeps punching Kaido with his metal arm. And that's it. And I'm like, you was doing this in Sabaody, brother. Like, what's the new tech? Where's the new bag at? Like, you building a robot, but the robot is, you basically just putting Frankie on your shoulders and swinging. Like, is that it? And I'm still waiting. And I'm like, okay, well, Luffy gonna take Kaido, so Kid and Law or Kid gonna take Big Mom, right? He is coming. And we get a cool moment. We get a sign, right? We get the sign. We see a little bit of magnetism. I'm like, okay, that's new, right? He puts Zeus in the little box and it throws Big Mom down. I'm like, okay, that's nice. Okay, so let's get him down. All right, so now Kid got to go fight Big Mom, right? I'm like, okay, cool. We're down from the rooftop. And I'm still waiting for Kid's moment. I was still waiting for Kaido, Big Mom to say, oh my God, the damage, Kid, you're so strong. Instead, what do I see? He stands up to Big Mom, raised a giant bull, and rams into Big Mom. And in that moment, I'm like, okay, so his magnetism is only to create metal, to throw at Big Mom. And that's it, right? Some people think it's cool. I did it. Maybe because I had more expectations for his powers. Because as far as I'm concerned, if that's all your magnetism is for, you might as well have just been a scientist. I just don't understand. Like, what damage are we doing? Oda's not even showing us the Haki. He's not putting no Haki around the metal. He ain't using Haki. We don't know if he's ever using Haki. Nobody's taking any real damage from Kid at all. So all I'm seeing this man do is the same run and dunk gimmick over and over and over again. And if there's one thing that we know about people using the same gimmick with no actual results? It's called insanity. It's called getting tired. It's called I'm gonna feel like I was tricked. I'm starting to realize that there's not more to you than I actually thought. Again, is it my fault? Most likely, but Oda tricked me, and that's all I'm gonna say, because this betrayal, my love, is dwindling. My excitement is dwindling, and from my excitement, from my expectations, it's becoming hatred, and I'm getting angrier, and I'm angry. I'm like, a metal bull, that's it? Is there anything else that we're gonna do? So lo and behold, we're at the point now where awakenings are coming out, right? We're excited for the awakenings. Oh yes, yeah, right? There's gotta be some Magneto time. Is it time for Magneto? No. Instead, Kid can turn Big Mom into a magnet. He can magnetize something with the South Pole, takes the North Pole, puts it down there, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, that's cool, I guess. Big Mom slammed against the wall. Is that gonna cause Big Mom damage? No, she's stuck. And what happens? You tell me what happens. Law uses his awakening to make Big Mom vulnerable. And what does Kid do? He drops a bunch of steel beams on her. And I'm like, okay, so if it was just you and Big Mom, you're not doing no damage. Zero. You're not doing nothing. So without Law, you're not doing anything to Big Mom. Like zero. And I'm like, that's fine. It's Big Mom, it's Yonko. Cool, whatever. As the fight continues, the more I'm realizing that without Trafalgar Law, Eustass Kid would be about as useful as Frankie. And I'm not kidding here when I'm telling you this. He would be about as useful as Frankie. Y'all can hate me as much as you like, but this is my truth and this is my reality. I am already bitterly disappointed to a point where I'm like, this guy is just Ben Simmons. This guy has one gimmick, and it's throw things and throw metal, and that's it. Metal Claw, that's his only. If you look at Kid as a Pokemon, all he has is Metal Claw, and that's it. What else does he have? So the one big moment that comes out, we're at the stage where Big Mom is about to get defeated. Law has set her up, Puncture Willie, we got it all, and Kid uses his special attack, which is the railgun, the laser beam. One attack that I can honestly say is pretty cool. It's cool. He uses it, shoots Big Mom. Big Mom is tanking it for a while. Eventually, he puts a little more juice into it. Law punctures her. There's giant holes, and Big Mom flies down into the hole and explodes into a volcano. And we're like, yes, great W. Oh my God. And everyone's like, yeah, see, Kid? See what Kid did? See what Kid did? Like I said before, Kid would have not done anything without the assist, the Chris Paul-like assist of Trafalgar D. Law. And I'm telling you this because can you imagine Luffy fighting Kaido, and the entire time someone is making Kaido vulnerable for Luffy to get hits? No hockey feats, no nothing. And people are like, Jay, but he still did some work. You gotta give him his credit. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I can't give him his credit. But compared to who I thought he was, I'm disappointed. And I'm upset, and I'm triggered. I'm getting triggered right now because I just expected so much more from him. I expected so much more from Kid. I mean, the lack of hockey feats alone is stressing my spirit. And we're not talking about power scaling. I'm talking about narrative as a character at his scale to show me no conquerors, no hockey, nothing. No ability to do anything besides run and dunk, man, and a Mickey Mouse railgun. That's it. That's all we're getting from Kid. So you mean to tell me if there's no metal around, nothing, what does he have? So at this point in time, people are like, Jay, I think you're being unfair to Kid, right? My perception of Kid is that he is just meant to be a disgrace. And let me explain. Eustass Kid has all this bravado about being the Pirate King. He has all this bravado about being one of the strongest pirates out there, being a contender. Got no Conqueror's Haki. You're said that you have Conqueror's Haki. You betrayed it. Not at all. Even in the anime, you used Conqueror's Haki for 3 seconds and fodder didn't even fall, so that's a disgrace. No hockey feats at all. For a fighter at your level, no display of hockey. Zero. Couldn't defeat your enemy without doing 60 to 70% of the work. Let's be honest, people. So you get 30% credit of a fight with a Yonko. You get a big bounty and you run around, and the first thing that you do is you pull up to Shanks and say, I'm destroying this ship. I want hands. And let me tell you something about this Shanks destruction. This was music, and it was spirit. It was a spiritual experience. I'm gonna explain to you why it was a spiritual experience to me, because I've been telling people Kid is trash for the longest time, and there was people, and there's probably people in this video right now saying, Jay, you're being so unfair to Eustass Kid. You're being so unfair to Eustass Kid. I'm gonna tell you something. The way Oda and Toei wrote this destruction is only a validation of my entire point that Kid's character was meant to be a disgrace from the very beginning, because people are like, oh, it's Shanks. Shanks is goated. Shanks is raw. This is supposed to be one of the top pirates in the verse. They just fought Kaido. They just fought Big Mom. You mean to tell me Shanks is that far ahead of Kaido and Big Mom, or is it that Kid is trash? I think the answer is Kid is trash. Shanks is strong. Yes, he's strong, but we got past the one shots with Yonkos. We're already past that. Luffy had that with Kaido. We've had that with Big Mom. We're past that point. That's not a viable excuse anymore. To me, I'm not having it anymore, because at what point in time would someone with a 3 billion berry bounty, someone that is considered a contender for the One Piece itself, is getting one shot? And not just one shot, the way it's disgracefully put, he gets one shot so bad, Shanks sees the future, teleports in front of him. He's on like, oh my god, what's going on with his big special attack and his big ray gun? Shanks cuts the rail gun. It explodes. It explodes and passes out immediately. The explosion is so bad, it takes out Killer. He's sliding against the poles. He's rolling around like Neymar, hitting the ground. His crew is begging him not to kill him and to get the ship destroyed. And that's it. That's all we see from him. When that happened, the first thing that came to my mind is Oda really don't care about this man. He was playing us from the very beginning. And for those who actually believe in Eustass Kid, I want you to know that Oda has disrespected you and he has embarrassed you the way he embarrassed me. You should be mad too, because Oda played y'all for a fool. Eustass Kid is trash. Oda said he's trash. He showed you he's trash, and then Toei Crip walked on his grave, bleed not like us, and then show us how bad that packing is. The man hallucinated. Talk about Killer, Kaido, Big Mom, Shanks, we did it. One attack, one explosion. It's either Shanks is God or Kid is trash. I'm going with Kid is trash. What are you gonna go with? Because I've had enough. So if you ever wonder why I hate Eustass Kid, watch this video and watch my explanation. Whether you like it or not, my opinion is not going to change, because Oda and Toei have justified it themselves. I'm tired, I'm hurt, and I'm still angry, and I'm never going to let go of this anger. There's nothing that Eustass Kid can do to change my mind. Eustass Captain Kid is trash. Good night.